Action.
Oh, dropped it. Push it first down, Neil.
All right, now get out of the truck there and just walk through the garage.
So we want you to start off and tell us who you are and a little bit about the band and the relationship with it.
All right. Yeah, I'm John, the lead singer of Crank. Just me and Colin and Jim and Willie have, I've known these guys for about 20 or so years. Met them all in school, and we just kind of hit it off. Never went to class very much, but put some songs together in the meantime. Oh, God. I think I was in my first band when I was about 14 or so years old, so I've been doing this for 25 years or so. I'm classically trained. I went to Juilliard School of Music for vocal lessons. I also do voiceovers for Discovery Channel. But seriously, we just use this as an excuse to get together and have some fun and have a couple of beverages, and it's a good creative outlet. And just that we can write about cars and music and that whole, automotive subculture is just sort of gravy because, we've all lived it from start to finish.
Tell us about your relationship with cars.
I think the first time I got hooked on cars, I was about 6 years old. My cousin Joe had a '62 Impala, so I've been an Impala guy since, for as long as I can remember. And I remember one day I was driving I had a white '62 Chevy convertible, and I was driving down Cicero Avenue in Chicago, and I pulled up behind a Grand Prix. I just remember that taillight panel, that ribbed taillight panel just looked so bad, and the car sat so low and it was so wide. And so I just had to follow the guy and find out what the heck that thing was. It turned out it was a '64 Grand Prix, and I've probably owned 6 or 7 since then. But I've been hooked on Pontiacs since, way back in '82, '83. I've probably owned about 40 or so of them. Love them so much that I actually started a company a couple of years ago called Arrowhead Components, and we actually remanufacture the 8-lug drums that were popular in the mid-'60s.
How did you come about with the writing of Sunday, Sunday, Sunday?
I remember hearing commercials for Great Lakes Dragway since watching, or I should say listening to the AM radio, Larry Lujak actually, and his animal stories. And I remember that the line, Sunday, 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 the way they'd lead into that radio commercial, I've never forgotten that. And I've always felt that it was worthy of, a song, it was worthy of more attention. And my uncle, who had a '73 Charger, 440 blown, he took me up there when I was probably about 12 or so years old. And I was so blown away just by the visceral experience, just the vibration of the cars going by and the smoke and the noise. And I've just been hooked ever since. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. When I first heard those commercials, that set a new tone for the weekend. Friday and Saturday night was, initially those were the big nights of the weekend. But when I was a kid and hearing those Sunday, Sunday, Sunday commercials, that just struck me as, this is the day everyone gets together. This is the day that's the important day of the weekend. Everyone just throws everything aside, goes and runs their cars all day long. And I think that's what probably turned me on to Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Not only hearing that commercial over and over, and that reverberation and the AM radio come out of my dad's station wagon as we're driving home from my grandma's place in Michigan, and hearing those commercials, thinking, oh my God, I cannot wait until Sunday. Uncle Don's going to take me out there, and we're going to check out these cars, and that made such an impression on me. The song itself actually just came out of the riff that Colin wrote. As we were just, fooling around, at rehearsal one night, he started cranking away, just sort of, filling time while we were setting up. And he started playing that riff, and I thought, man, that kind of has the feel of just a lopey idle, a high duration cam just at the starting line, waiting to take off, waiting for the green light to hit. And it sort of just, that night, it was written in one night. That night, it just developed from there. And in Sunday, 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 although it wasn't planned, just sort of came out as we worked our way through it. And the rest is history.
Tell us about some of your musical influences and what you feel is the guys that really influenced you to becoming the musician you are today.
Well, it started when I was a kid, my parents listened to a lot of Ray Charles, a lot of Elvis, and they had this humongous stereo that played nothing but, the 78s. And I remember those little plastic inserts, and they at least had 150 of these 78s and underneath this stereo. And I remember not being able to, stay in my room any longer. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd come down and start flipping through the 78s and getting the little green and red and yellow inserts for the little records and going through, early Ray Charles, Ray Conniff, Elvis. And that's what sort of got me hooked on early rock and roll. And then, of course, as you grow older, you try to find as much music that would really irritate your parents and friends. You don't want to be like anybody else. You just find the most obnoxious stuff to listen to. But then Colin and I bumped into each other at school, and we found that we listened to a little bit of everything. A little early 60s, late 50s rock. Of course, that progressed to your classic rock, and at that time, gosh, the late 80s, metal was really coming on, like your Metallicas and Slayers. And it just sort of evolved. We sort of tried to morph everything into one, and while we're certainly not anything near rockabilly, I think that a lot of blues, like any rock musician, a lot of blues creeps into everything. And but I'd have to say it started with my parents and all those little damn 78s with Ray Charles and Elvis and Ray Conniff and Roy Clark. And I just remember hearing him picking a guitar and a banjo and just being blown away, and that's what got me hooked.
But I want to see a little bit more of the Cadillac too. Okay.
Yep.
Get off my lawn! Parked on the grass, dumbass!
My name is Colin Peterson, guitar player for the band Crank.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing since going on 25 years now. I've been playing guitar for 25 years. I was voted favorite guitar player in the Midwest by the Midwest Beat Magazine Beat Readers poll. I have grown up around cars, and there's actually an interesting story about me and the whole Sunday. My dad is a retired radio talk show host, and his best friend who worked with him at the radio station was Jan Gabriel, who coined the term Sunday. He's the famous Sunday guy. So we figured if Jan hears this song and wants some royalties, remember, you used to bring me to the racetrack. My influences are Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page. I like to listen to all different kinds of music. I taught guitar for 5 years at Highland Guitar Studio. I'm a Freemason and a Shriner, and I like to do a lot of charity work. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Shannon. I learned to drive on a 1963 split-window Corvette Daytona Blue.
Let's see, tell us about the other band members and how you guys got together.
Well, Jim, the drummer, has been my best friend for well over 20 years. We went to middle school and high school together, and we've had a great relationship since then. John, the singer, was my roommate in college. We went to Northern Illinois University. Willie, the bass player, we met him years and years ago. Jim used to play with his twin brother, Rocky, in bands here and there, so when we needed a bass player, we grabbed Will. It's been a pleasure. We've been making music on and off for, 15, 16 years now. So this has been a really great ride. It's awesome to play songs about hot rods and drag racing.
Who wrote the song?
I actually wrote the music for it, and John wrote the lyrics, and I think probably somewhere in there is a couple of my lyrics, but John is a super gearhead. Like I said, when we went to college together, he had a early 60s Impala convertible. Let me drive it a few times, and that was cool. He's always been around cars, and it's very infectious. Yeah, as far as my guitar playing goes, I learned chords from all the different posters I had in my room. I had Randy Rhoads posters, Yngwie Malmsteen, Jimmy Page, And I would just look at the position their hands were in and started going from there. Had some friends who diddled with the guitar and took lessons, and I just sort of took stuff from them. So basically I'm self-taught, and then eventually became a teacher myself, kind of gearing the kids in a manner where I went and trying to break them of the bad habits.
Action.
What's your name?
My name's Will Colbert. I play bass for Crank.
How long you been playing for?
I've been playing bass too long to be this bad, really. I was a little kid when we started this, so got a good 30 years of been playing. So
Tell us about your relationship with the band Crank.
I've been playing with these guys for on and off for over 20 years. So we did a blues band together. We do various other projects together. I help John out with car stuff for his car club. So we all stay in touch all the time, even if we're not playing together. So.
How did you meet?
Actually, Jimmy and I played in an alternative band together when we were kids, and the bass player had some problems, and they needed somebody to come fill in, so I jumped in.
Tell us about your feelings on the song Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. What influences with that has made you who you are?
It's pretty cool. It's a straightforward, heavy song, probably the heaviest, most to the point song that we do. When we were putting it together, John and Colin kept throwing, the parachutes for my brakes, all the really cool car influence, racing everything. That's just really good.
As far as your training in music,
I probably had 4 or 5 lessons when I was a kid, and then I just put on records and learned everything that we were playing. So that's just how you do it. Back then, now everybody goes.
The looks of a garage band, you still feel like the influences.
I will die in a garage band. It'll always be a garage band. It'll always be a garage band for me. It's never gonna be something nice and polished,
Influence in music, who and what?
Chris Squire from Yes. He's
Say that again?
Chris Squire from Yes. He's the baddest bass player ever. Geddy Lee from Rush. And a host of just alternative guys. R.E.M. Everybody from Duran Duran even. I mean, it's just really heavy stuff for me. So good stuff that moves under everything.
So dream one time. Tell me what what's your future look for? I mean, tell us about your everyday job, and then what would you like down the road?
I work with cars every day, actually, which is a departure for everybody else here. So it's a different monster than these guys right here, but I don't know. I'd like to do something a little more artistic, I think, for a life, Just be more fun to do.
Working the knobs.
Yeah.
If I can be so bold.
Cool. Okay.
What's your name?
Jim Lindstrom. I'm the drummer in Crank. I'm what keeps it. No.
How long you been playing with these guys?
I've been playing with these guys. Colin and I went to high school together, and about junior in high school, we finally discovered that each other played an instrument, and started playing together, messing around with different people, and as time went on, we formed Crank, and here we are today.
Are you self-taught, or did you get lessons?
I started playing drums when I was in 5th grade, and I started playing in the concert band in the junior high school. They would come in and they would test people for what instruments they were qualified to play. And actually, when I first started out, my sister was in choir, and I wanted to play for the longest time, and I wanted to start playing in 4th grade, but they had enough drummers, and they were like, well, if you come in, you can play clarinet, but if you wait a year, then you can play the drums. So I waited till 5th grade, and I started playing the drums. And
When did you get your first drum set?
my first drum set I got was a loaner from the junior high when I was in 6th grade.
And how did your parents like that?
They didn't like it at all. The funny thing is that my father's accountant, his son played guitar and his one other son played the drums, and they had a band and they would practice at their house. And my father would, would say for years, that's never going to happen in my house. And then lo and behold, years later, here I am making all this racket in the basement.
Tell us about the Sunday song and what it actually means to you. I realize that the other guys wrote it, but how do you feel about Sunday and the relationship to Hot Dogs?
Well, I just remember growing up as a kid hearing it on the radio, Sunday, and we're just trying to play off of that song and get the same feel and, catch the feel of the Hot Rod. But
What influenced you?
as far as drummers, my favorite's always been John Bonham from Led Zeppelin.
What's your earliest memory of music? When did it
really drive you? When did it really decide that you wanted to be a musician? In one respect or another.
I remember growing up as a kid, my father was always in the country, and we'd get in the car and turn the station onto a rock channel, and the contest would be to see how long it would be before he finally got mad and clicked it over to his country station.
Where would you like to see the band go, or what would you like to do? You always want to be a homes fun garage band, or maybe you see anything down the road? What do you want?
I'd like to get together and spend a little bit more time in the studio, dialing some stuff in. The times that we've gone in before, when you go in, you're paying for the hour, and I'd like to spend some time to get in and be able to actually listen to it and spend some time and not hurry and, get a better feel for how things are going to go.
Work some things out.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is I was talking to John, it's like, you play a song and you play something, and just because you play it and then you play it a certain way, it doesn't necessarily, when you hear it back, it doesn't necessarily sound the way you thought it was going to sound. Certain things you think, oh man, I really like how that played, I really like how that felt, and then you hear it back, you're like, it doesn't really work.
How does that work? So, you got a guy that writes the song, you got a guy that kind of plays the main tune, let's say. How does a drummer play into that? When you guys put together a song?
We put together a song, Colin will come up with the riff and the basic feel of it, and we'll get together and just kind of feel each other out, kind of see where, they were thinking about going with it, and it kind of might take, a song might kind of go a certain couple ways before we finally dial it in and be like, okay, that's what I like. And John will usually sit there and kind of sing along and think about, what he has in mind. And once we get it dialed in as a band, then he'll kind of put in exactly where we're going to go with it lyric-wise. So we kind of all work on it. Callan usually comes up with something, and we all work it as a band to kind of mold it into what it is. Okay.
Do you sing?
No, I don't.
Do you have aspirations to sing, or you not sing?
I can't sing, that's my problem.
We all have aspirations.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I sound great in the shower.
Yeah, yeah, you and me both, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, thank you.